This lesson of the Gourmet Candy Maker is part 2 of candy cane bark, packaging and presentation. In this lesson, we'll learn how to protect your candy cane bark confections. We'll talk about packaging options, and we'll give you things to consider when gift wrapping your candy cane bark for gift giving. Our candy cane bark has been in the refrigerator for about 20 minutes. When we start to break it up, we want to make sure that it is solid and crunchy through and through. We don't want it to flake or be not quite solid, so that we need to get nice crisp snaps. So I've tested this. I can feel along the bottom that it's very chilled right in the center. So I'm just going to take this and we will break it like that, and you can see how delicious this is. Look at that, isn't that pretty? And then the rest is up to you. You can do big chunks, you can do small chunks, and it just depends on how you're going to use them in your assortments, or possibly just serve it on a holiday buffet table. But this is, I mean, how beautiful. You may think, well, there's not very much peppermint on here, but there is. Remember, we put the peppermint oil, and we also put beautiful peppermint chunks inside. So each one of these is incredibly flavorful. So I'm going to bring our little serving tray up here, and we can just enjoy the fruits of our labor. Here's a perfect size right there. Isn't that gorgeous? It's a nice snap. Now you get this snap because our chocolate is premium chocolate, and it's also in perfect temper. This is a great recipe that you can do with your children, because there's no hot sugars, there's no stove involved. You just temper the chocolate and then have your kids spread it and then sprinkle the candy canes. Once you have all your 2 pounds broken into shapes, then you can decide what goes in your boxes, what goes in on your tray, and use them according to the right size. So I really like doing irregular sizes, and that gives me a lot of variety and opportunity to tuck the peppermint bark here and there in my assortments. So now that we have our bounty of beautiful candy cane bark, all the pieces are perfect in temper, beautifully decorated, we have the joy of packaging them as gifts. Now there's several hundreds of ways, obviously, that you can present your bark, but a couple of things you want to keep in mind. Number one, peppermint, the flavor travels. So if you're using it in an assortment, you may want to isolate them a little bit with cellophane, or maybe even foil wrap them if you want, but that's not so great because you want this beautiful design to show. But just understand that this peppermint may travel to some other pieces in your box. Another thing to consider is that if you're going to be giving your candy cane bark a week or so after you make it, sometimes if there's a little bit of humidity in the air, the candy cane pieces themselves might become just a little bit sticky, and your pieces may stick together if they're stacked on top. Not a big deal, because you can obviously just pick them apart, but you may want to consider putting a layer of cellophane in between each layer of your candy cane bark, just as a precaution, but it really isn't necessary. So for me, the look in the candy cane bark is what it's all about. So I will very often just take a small piece of cellophane, put my bark in it, maybe a 1/4 pound, just like this. This is maybe a 1/4 pound. And then I'll put my beautiful piece right on top, just like this. And then I just bunch it up. Put a really cute ribbon on it. maybe a little decoration like, oh, a candy cane. And just give it as a little pouch or a little treat. I'll put my candy cane right there. Fluff this up. Maybe cut the edges. Cut this a little bit. And there you have just a beautiful hostess gift straight from your kitchen. It's absolutely delicious and so pretty. This way they can see what's inside. They have a little candy cane that they can nibble on afterwards. And you've just created a beautiful, tasty treat. This is a package that I bought from one of the big box stores. I just think it's totally darling. It was very cheap. And for this, because I won't be able to see the peppermint bark inside, and I really want to be careful that because I'm going to stack quite a bit, I don't want it to stick. So I'm going to make several layers of cellophane to put in between my bark. And then I'm going to use this really cute paper that I found. Probably cut this in half. Just fold it and tuck it in here. Put my first cellophane down. And then just start stacking my bark. This one's too big, so I'm going to break that. And just put it in here. And again, you could do maybe a 1/4 pound. This might take a little bit more. Now I've put 3 on top, and I'm going to put another layer of cellophane to sort of buffer the weight. Add 3 more. Another layer of cellophane, we'll put it this way. And your bark in this type of container with the cellophane will stay fresh and unsticky for a couple of weeks, absolutely. So now I've finished stacking my bark. I'm going to put, actually I'm just going to put one more beautiful piece right there. And then I turn the cellophane over to keep the chocolate away from the tissue paper. I fold the tissue paper like this, put the lid on, and then you can do whatever you want. I usually do a big cello with a bow on top, and it's just really lovely. Okay, then the last option is to use a window box, which is easy to find at any of your craft stores. And the beauty of this is people can see what's inside, which is yummy. And once again, I use a lot of cello. I'm actually going to cut this in half. Cellophane protects the chocolate from sticking to one another, and it also is a bit of a moisture barrier, keeping it fresh. So we'll just put this down in the box. Give our bark a nice little nest, and then we'll just begin stacking it. Now what I'll do with this is I'll pick the prettiest pieces, and I'll show you why. Maybe this one, and this one, and maybe this one. And then I will stack the rest like this. A little bit more. Now this little box will probably, here's a beautiful one, will probably hold about a 1/2 pound, actually 8 ounces, which would be an amazing gift to receive. Okay, so now what I'll do, when I have the right amount in here, or almost the right amount, I'm going to take our beautiful pieces and I'm going to just put them right in the window, like that. And I'll do another one right beside it, like that. And then, let me see if I can show this to you. I just tuck them in like that, so that they're facing out. Everything else is stacked on top of each other. These two pieces are facing out, so the window gets to see the yummy stuff inside. So one more little poke of cellophane. And we actually have a few more pieces here. And when you're full, you close this up. And again, the cellophane really keeps it nice and sealed. It keeps a little bit of the atmosphere out, but the whole point of making candy in your own kitchen is that it's ultra fresh. So when you do your candy making session, it's really a nice idea to schedule your gifting shortly thereafter, maybe within a week or a few days even. So I do this, and I do this, and there you have our beautiful peppermint candy cane bark as a gift. You can tie this with ribbon. You could put another decoration on it. I mean, let your creative juices flow. But this would be an amazing gift to give anyone. I'm Lynn, your gourmet candy maker, wishing you a wonderful season. Enjoy candy making, give lots and lots of candy cane bark, and we'll see you next time. Be sure to subscribe to our RSS feed and stay tuned for the next Gourmet Candy Maker show. Bye for now.